Today, let's put the spotlight then on early-stage venture capital fund that is Veda VC. It's announced its first close of 250 crore rupees in corpus led by family offices and startup CXOs. We've got Avijeet Alagathi, who is the managing partner at Veda VC, now joining us on the show. Avijeet, good to have you on board. Let's understand a little bit more about the kind of sectors that you're looking at to really invest in. I understand that it's going to be across tech-enabled ventures in India, SaaS, fintech, etc. Give us a little more perspective.
Sure. Thanks, Avan, a lot for having us on the show. So as you know, we are an early stage venture fund. So the sectors that we primarily focus on is roughly around 30 to 35% of our overall investments would be in deep tech or IP-driven bets. Another 30% would be in software as a service, and the remaining would be consumer internet. And these sectors are primarily because all of the partners are ex-founders, and these are the areas where we have actually had domain expertise before. So those are the broad sectors that the fund will be focusing on.
Okay. Well, that's pretty interesting because that is definitely emerging as a very hot space to be in. So tell us a little bit more. So far, I understand the fund has made 9 funding deployments so far. Tell us where the deployments have been made and what the game plan is for the next 10 to 12 investments for the rest of the year.
Sure, yeah. So historically, over the past 3 years, there have been certain areas where we have been extremely bullish on, and the fund has continued to do the same. For example, in deep tech, space tech is an area where the fund is extremely bullish on. So one of the investments that we have made initially before the fund was Agnikul and Galaxy. Both of these, Agnikul is a rocket, launches rockets, Galaxy is a satellite company. From the fund, we have made this investment called Inspacity, which is actually creating propulsion systems for satellites in space. Very early stage, very bullish on the overall space tech sector. Besides that, from the fund, we are also taking very active bets in AI/ML space. So one of the investments that we have made is called True Gradient, which actually provides demand forecasting using AI models. So broadly from the fund, among the 9 investments that we have made, a majority from the fund has been B2B, which is SaaS and deep tech. We have made one consumer internet, which is a religion tech company called Devdarshan, primarily because the unit economics were very great. That's a huge TAM. And those are the investments that we have made so far. Going forward, we expect the investments to continue in these spaces. We might probably do a little bit more consumer starting next year as we kind of see the market kind of settling down and we see more consumer opportunities emerging right now.
Avijeet, since I understand that you are one of the most active seed investors, tell us a little bit more about the outlook in terms of, what exactly it is that you look at, how critical it is for new businesses to actually, get this sort of leverage and in order to benefit from it.
Yeah, I think so, for example, for early stage investing, right, a startup founder who's starting off, we are usually the first investor in these companies. In terms of the benefit that these guys have of working with us, as an operator, all of us have been ex-entrepreneurs. We have seen the whole startup journey, the ups and downs, right from starting up to seeing our own exits. The benefit for every founder, which, we have already made 30 investments. And, what we really kind of do with these founders is enable them for whatever we can. So Veda VC is one of the operator VC models. It's a very emerging trend right now where a lot of founders over the past 10 years, over the past decades, who have run their own startups and have exited are now getting investing and actually giving it back to the community. We see this trend continuing, and early stage is an area where you need these kind of investors to help these founders right from the 0 to 1 journey before they actually hit PMF.
Right, and give us a sense as to how critical do you think it is for companies to really now adapt and, leverage AI deep tech categories? And do you think it should be, perhaps only isolated to some sectors, or do you think it should be the use of leveraging this technology across the board? How critical is it now?
It's no question that that you cannot ignore AI/ML in today's world, right? As an example, one of our companies called Dukaan, when the funding winter hit, they really replaced all of their customer executives with an AI chatbot. So companies can use AI across 2-3 different areas. One is to kind of get better estimation, better demand forecasting, better predictions. The other is to just reduce cost. A lot of menial or manual tasks which were done before with a lot of people can be automated today. So our view is over the next few years, India will see adoption on the application side. So we'll see a lot of large corporates and customers adopting AI tools and tools to kind of reduce costs and automate a lot of processes. And I think that is where our investments are also kind of directed as of now. And from the startup ecosystem, I think anything which helps, supercharge product development, anything which helps accelerate the PMF of the startup, I think that is also something where AI investment goes to.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about, some of the companies that you have already invested in and, how they've actually benefited, because I understand that there is a dedicated team that is looking into investments in frontier technologies like AI, computer vision, space tech, etc.
Right, yeah. So we started investing in 2020. So one of the initial investments, so we had the first check in this company called Avijeet, which is a computer vision company. We have also invested in Agnikul. We are one of the earliest investors in Agnikul, which is a space tech company. We have been early investors in Elo Elo.live, which is a consumer internet company. We have been the first check in Dukaan. We have invested in a creator economy company called One Impression. So these were the investments that we made very early on and which today are doing pretty well, specifically to deep tech. So there are 3 areas that we primarily focus into deep tech, right? First is the space tech ecosystem, where we have made 3 investments. The second is the AI/ML computer vision ecosystem, where we have made 6 investments as of now. And then the third is the whole energy transformation story, right? And we have made 2 investments there. One, a company which actually makes lithium-ion cells and is expected to put up a large plant in the country. Other, which is into e-waste recycling and has a very strong IP-driven thesis. So these are the kind of areas that we are primarily focusing on the deep tech side. And as you know, on the macro side, there's tremendous support from the government and the overall public sector infrastructure. With the recent deep tech bills also kind of coming up, we see the macro continuing to be supportive. We see more public-private partnerships happening. The PLI schemes, the focus on innovation in India, Make in India. We see it's a great time to be a deep tech or an IP-driven investor in India.
Okay, fair enough. And just take us through the outlook then on the funds that have been launched so far and what the overall check sizes are going to be.
Sure. So we it's a 250 crore fund. We have completed the first close, which is close to 150 crore. We'll be planning to invest anywhere between a $250,000 to a $1.25 million investment in early stage companies. Around 80% of the portfolio will be first check, while we'll have around 20-25% of the portfolio as a follow-on check to double down on our investments. As I told, the areas that we focused on is deep tech, SaaS, and consumer internet. We'll continue to focus on these spaces.
Okay, Avijeet, good to have you on board. Thanks so much for joining in and giving us more perspective, and all the very best on this fund.
Thanks, Aman. Thanks a lot.